Hello, Fusao Kajima here. Nice to see you again. Today's topic is music and nature. From last episode, I mentioned Yusan, which is Jade Mountain by Hsiao Tyzen, and the animal episode, second one. Maybe you remember I mentioned Richard Strauss' Alpine Symphony, in which he depicted the mimi sheep sound. So, nature is a very simply irresistible subject matter by so many composers. So, I would like to explore that subject today. And because I mentioned mountains, I'm gonna go with the mountain first. Alpine Symphony by Richard Strauss. That's very, very descriptive, almost like a movie. You see and you hear very ferocious bad weather to very peaceful nice meadows to jagged edge to all the different kind of mountains you hear. Again, just like a movie music, I think you can almost see that is his the greatest gift. He can do almost anything, but in this case, very realistic paintings of alpine mountains. Next composer I'd like to talk about is also I mentioned in the animal episode, Armenian American composer Alan Hovhaness. In that I talked about the whales sound. This it's a piece he wrote as a second symphony. The subtitle is Mysterious Mountain. He lived in Seattle area where I used to live, and his wife was Japanese coloratura soprano, so I know about him a little bit. He loved nature in general, just like whales, just like this mountain. In Seattle, if you live there, you see on the west Olympic Mountain and the east Cascade Mountains. So either one of those, I think that was his model for this piece. So almost same as Richard Strauss, but it's more of an image and impression of this really beautiful mountain in park, and that's this piece is about. And he is very special because he wrote many pieces. His opus number, which is a work catalog number, is 432, I believe, but he actually wrote more than 500 pieces. You know, his routine was he wakes up, have a breakfast, he writes. So that's why he accumulated so many pieces. It's very special. Next mountain piece I'd like to talk about is American composer Copland, Aaron Copland. He studied in France, so his orchestration is very famous, very colorful, very unique, but he uses some American folk tunes and some Mexican tunes and made it very, very exciting rhythmic pattern. So the piece is called Appalachian Spring. Appalachia, which is the east side of the United States, like Carolina. In this piece, unlike Strauss or maybe Hovhaness, he really describes the way of life in this mountain region in springtime. And he uses a Schenker tune later on to highlight the people who live near the mountain, with the mountain. So it's a little different take. It's less realistic, more of impressionistic, more of a character of that life of mountain area. Of course, I cannot forget about probably the piece you know about, which is A Night on Bald Mountain by Russian composer Mussorgsky. It sounds very scary, and therefore it is usually played during Halloween time. But it's a funny story that my teacher mentor Gustav Meyer once told me. He went to so-called a place where this place is modeled after, and he said, that place is not scary at all, very peaceful, very nice. And I said, oh, so my image of this piece has changed a little bit. And besides Night on Bald Mountains, there are many people, many composers wrote. Two Czech composers, Smetana and Janacek, both wrote about their actual mountain, Brenik. Their Liszt, famous pianist and also composer, he has written Mountain Symphony. And the Brazilian composer Villa-Lobos composed Sobre Linha das Montanhas. My Portuguese is not so good, but so there are many composers wrote. So when rains and water falls on mountain, it springs to streams and then goes to river. Yes. So I'm going to talk about river next. River, one of my favorite, and I think many people's favorite piece. It's called The Moldau. It's a part of Mavlast by Czech composer Smetana. Mavlast is my motherland. So, in that, I previously mentioned the mountain movement, Brenik, and this the Moldau River. He starts out with two flutes, just like actual stream water, and the clarinet joins with the pizzicato stack. And more people starts cello, violas, and just like a river, actual river, it grows and waves and wide open, and at the end, a really gigantic, very majestic river. It is descriptive but has a very beautiful tune, the melody, and very romantic, very powerful music. That's why this is probably the most popular piece by him. And I'm sure you know, but if you don't know, please listen. And next piece I talk about, I'm sure you know that. It's a beautiful Danube River by Johann Strauss. Of course, every single year on New Year's Day, concert by Vienna Philharmonic, they will play this piece last. Of course, Radetzky March, that's the encore, not the last piece. But beautiful piece. It's of course Viennese waltz, but has so many different, just like a river has a different current, and that's why it's the Viennese waltz music at its best. So I mentioned that too. In river section, Schumann has written his third symphony at subtitle Rhine, or Wagner with a long musical drama Rheingold. So the river Rhine is a very special thing about for German people. I'll talk about a little bit of pond and lake. The American composer Charles Ives wrote the movement called Pond out of 3 outdoor scenes. Ives, maybe you might not know, but I hope you would listen to his music, because his music is just crazy. Nobody can identify why. One of my teachers at New England Conservatory idolized Charles Ives. He even dressed like Charles Ives. So he told many stories, but the reason why Charles Ives kept his insurance sales job was because of his father told him, music composer is not a real profession. So he really listened to his father. And his father made him do very strange things, like trumpet played in this side of lake, and then listen to the completely different area and hear the echo and sing the echo together with the trumpet playing. And so sometimes his music, like 2 marching band colliding, he literally writes things like that. So hopefully you might get a chance to listen. The lakes, there are many pieces by lake. Of course, Tchaikovsky's Swan Lake, Enchanted Lake by, again, fellow Russian composer Lyadov, Rose Lake by British composer Sir Michael Tippett, Valdsey Forest Lake by Sibelius, again, many lakes. At the end, water falls, goes down, and it will join the ocean, sea. And the sea, ocean is, again, the mother nature of mother. So many composers wrote the piece. But I mentioned only 3, and the musical examples only 2. First one I mentioned is Vaughan Williams. He's a very successful composer, and he wrote First Symphony. What does it call? A sea symphony. Yes, so he felt special about sea. Yes. The next one, big. Debussy, La Mer, the ocean sea. The Debussy, of course, you might know, the impressionistic period composer. Some people call it symbolistic because it's unlike realistic, it's more symbol, and that made it impressionistic. So how Debussy depicts ocean? It's combination of, again, development of Western music compositional skill, both color, different combination of instruments playing, lots of different rhythms, and lots of textures, layers. Of course, many other composers have done, but most importantly, harmony. Because sometimes there's a do mi sol going to the do fa la and si re sol and do mi sol, that kind of cadence. He goes more like so you cannot predict the way it used to be like a long time ago, but much more again try to be like nature, unpredictable. So that's the one. And he obviously did many innovative things, and so influenced many composers, including Stravinsky and pianos. The last, but not least, again, the piece I mentioned to you, you might not know. It's by British composer Benjamin Britten. In his opera, Peter Bryce, he wrote 4 sea interludes. And Britten, in order to perform Britten, it's very different. Executing Britten's music very hard. Because it exposed areas, it's very sensitive, and his sensitivity is very special. But because of that, it captures very raw emotion And so in this case, again, the sea also seems like a bad day, angry waves, or very calm, very sunny reflection of sunshine, and very happy. All these almost like human emotions you feel through the ocean. And Vic does a great job. So, I hope you had an informative and fun and entertaining little bit of time today. I hope to see you next time. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.